welcome.
Hey,
Hey, welcome to the Scene 757.
757.
Locals only.
Yeah.
All right. This is going to be new and exciting because we are actually in their interwebs with you, and we also have a live audience, and we have a video premiere, and we're so excited.
Yeah.
But we will be right back.
Sandwiches, they look pretty good.
Hey there.
Hey.
Welcome back. Brian's looking at sandwiches.
I'm telling you, the
Just
the
saying.
food from
I mean, you should be looking at the food is from Island Time Delights.
Island
And in
Time
fact,
Delights,
hold on, I
man.
have a commercial
Holy
for them.
Sponsored by Island Time Delights, full catering services and food truck. Authentic Filipino cuisines and America's favorites, using the finest of ingredients and always made from scratch. Your vision is our delight. Call today to discuss your catering needs at 919-880-5539. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram.
All right. That was
All
one of our
right.
sponsors,
Yeah.
but we have two sponsors
But
tonight.
wait, there's more.
And cheers.
Cheers.
to you. Where are we at, Brian?
We are at Back Bay Beach House Brewing, ladies and gentlemen, right here on Norfolk Ave. The address again is
614 Norfolk Ave.
don't forget it.
Better
Home of
come down.
Craft beer and live
Awesome
music.
Stuff.
Yes, they do have live music upstairs in the room that we're in right now.
Yeah.
They've been booking bands up here for a while, plus they do acoustic stuff as well downstairs. And excited to be here.
Yeah. I'm drinking 757 lager. It tastes pretty yummy.
And I have an Imperial Orange Crush.
Imperial Orange Crush. I want one
Fine
of
vintage
those.
here.
That's awesome. So we are so excited. We have a live guest with a live audience, and we did have an audience cam. I don't know where he went. Hold on. We gotta get the live audience cam on. Hold up.
Uh-oh.
Audience cam, you guys ready?
Audience cam.
Woo! Over there. There we go. Yeah, welcome everybody. So we gonna introduce our guest?
Without any further ado, I mean, I guess we should. Am I right?
We should.
I mean, he's been a staple, a pillar of the musical community here for as long as I've been a kid. And, the name alone doesn't have anything to do with mime. However, people get us confused as brothers all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Mr. Mark Dunn. Thank you.
Yay! Come on up. This is so exciting. I mean, it's not normal that a live stream has three. The cameras right there. We are all three going to be in here. You'll see me looking here, and they've got their own camera.
Okay. That's
All
what
right.
we should.
As you
Brothers in
should.
arms.
As they should. As they should. Cheers to you. You know, Fiji
Yeah,
water.
he's doing the water thing. I like that.
My sponsor, Fiji Water.
Sponsored
Right.
by.
They pay me
Sponsored by.
thousands of pennies every 10 years.
So if anybody's on here live, would you say hello? Oh, there is somebody live. Hello. Hey.
Hey.
Welcome.
What's their name?
Kellen Ann.
Oh,
Hi.
I had checks in the mail, Kellen.
Are they searching for you?
Evidently.
Man.
Apparently.
So, all right, Brian, take it away. What do we want to talk to Mark about tonight?
Well, I mean, first of all, before we segue into that, let's
Well spoken.
like I was saying, let's tell us about how this whole pipe dream came about with me and
Oh, yes.
Sandy.
Oh,
Yeah, let's
yes.
just
I'm
chat a little
sorry.
bit about that.
Yeah.
I don't like talking about myself.
No, well, the funny
Mark
thing
will
is,
talk about you.
Sandy and I ran into Sandy one day at she was at,
Where was I at? I was at Calypso's.
yes, Calypso.
Watching that dude over there.
Correct, exactly.
Yes.
Mr. Kurt Bailey was doing a thing out there for the Rock and the Stocking. through Rockstar Booking, and the Nobleman. What a great cause.
Rocking the stocking.
Yeah,
Is that a euphemism?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is. And yeah, and I said, Sam, so what have you been up to? What's been going on? And you told me, you were like, hey, doing this, doing that, doing that. There's a podcast. I'm doing this podcast that is a kind of like a life coaching podcast. And I said, I had this crazy idea about wanting to do something as far as the 757 music scene here, or the musicians here, but I don't know the first thing about podcasting, but I can run my mouth pretty well. So
she does a life coaching podcast, and you want to do a music. So
Right.
This is a dichotomy, because if she's really going to be a life coach, she would look into the camera and say, never, ever be a musician, ever. So
Hey.
and
we're
that's
dealing with a conundrum right
conundrum, and that was back in December.
Well, I might be a life coach because of.
That was about that was back in December, and we've just been talking about it, and lo and behold, we finally set what we call a hardline date and said, this is when it's going to happen. We're going to get these things in place, and we've got the guest of a lifetime, great fella, and good
Finally
people.
found the
guest
Whatever.
of a
Yeah.
lifetime.
So enough with that. But that's how this whole thing was kind of birthed as a pipe dream between us. And oh yeah, Sandy does have an idea about doing a rock and roll music.
I want to do a
Check this
rock
out.
and roll cooking show, and the reason is I noticed that musicians like to cook. They all like
Yeah,
to cook.
I like to
For
cook.
some
We like to eat.
reason, musician and cooking goes together, and they cook really well. So that's my.
You should
next
taste my
idea.
musician soup. It's a great recipe. It's
Oh.
if you want I'll give you a teaser. Musician soup. I don't really have to eat it anymore, thankfully. But it's yesterday's pizza with today's PBR just mixed together. It's awesome.
Oh, that sounds-
hey
That's,
now.
that's serious road food recipe. That's
Yeah.
musician soup
Okay,
right
so
there.
we're not getting Mark on our show.
He's not going to make
Too
it.
late.
Oh my
I'll be
God.
back for more
Mark's not gonna
recipes.
be
Did I just
a chef.
snort? All right, I'm gonna dive right into the questions
Dive
here.
in.
Obviously, Mark is
Let's go.
he's been well known for in this town
I
forever. but
think everybody should know we have the same birthday, but you're apart.
this is true.
Yeah.
We share the same birthday, a year apart. Everybody
same last name.
everybody confuses us as brothers.
That's okay. I just tell them that it allows you to make more money on your gigs when you associate to me.
And this dude, we had at one time, true story, we had a duo at one time called the Double D's.
Oh yeah,
And we did. What?
we got booked once.
What? Yeah, what? What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Right. Why not the Double D's?
And it's somebody in the audience pointed, one D hangs lower than the other, and the joke was done. It was,
I'm like, look, I'll just play and sing. You play behind me. We'll
why
make
not
it work.
done and doner?
one and
We've
done.
done that.
Done and
One and
done.
done.
We've done
Done
that.
and doner.
One
We've
and
done
done.
that. Anyway, so
If we could get a band with two more duns, we could be done for.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
We could.
Thank you. I'll be here till 8.
Oh, thank you very much. All right. So to my questions there's
your
a lot of random that always
Random.
it's my random questions, but these are kind of curtailing to your background in music and like where obviously we know you were born here. And
No, I was not. I was born in Keflavik, Iceland.
say
Oh.
what?
Yeah, I'm a Viking.
He's a
literally.
true Viking.
Check him out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Were you raised in Keflavik, Iceland, or no?
No, but I was long enough there to. That's one of the reasons I'm so cool. Okay, enough puns. On it. But
No, wait. But you're
talk a little louder. That's right. That's right.
okay.
No, we went from. I'm the youngest of 5 boys, so
Oh,
I came along way late in the lineage of the esteemed Dunn clan. And I make the joke that there's only 2 things to do in Iceland, and the first one's drink vodka. So I'm a product of the second thing.
Okay.
But ostensibly I was raised in Norfolk, so I grew up in Norfolk from
Okay.
like
you
3
said
to
it right too.
You did say it right.
because I'm from here. I know how.
So what
That's
would
right.
you say, just curious, would approximately, I mean, we all have this fascination with guitar. We all have a great guitar story, but I'm just curious what yours is because it's like, what drew you, roughly what
2
age
things.
were you and
Well,
why?
I think I started playing guitar when I was 6 or 7, and I was the youngest, and it wasn't a thing. It's not like little Johnny taking piano lessons and has to practice 30 minutes every day. There were guitars literally lying around the house and different states of disrepair or usage. And I just started plunking around because I like to listen to Elvis tunes and listening to Elvis songs. And so I got a couple of chords. I don't remember what my first one was, but I do know my first two songs were "That's All Right, Mama" and "Folsom Prison Blues."
There we go.
Yeah.
Those are good.
And then but you know, you either play guitar or you didn't, as far as I was concerned. It's like I didn't know there was a difference in one's capability.
Right.
And so it was just about playing songs. And then that whole thing got blown out the window when I saw a live Van Halen video when I was like 11. I'm like, wait a minute. The guy singing's got a bottle of Jack Daniels. There's girls losing their mind. I'm an 11-year-old boy. And I'm like, and the guitar player is playing stuff that I can, and he's smiling. And that looks like a really good job. And I think I want to do that. So I have made it all the way to Back Bay Brewing Beach House for this.
For
just for
For
this. Just for this.
the release
Well,
of my video
and
for this new record.
In the 75.
And nothing in between that first time watching the Van Halen video and 3,500 shows, all of that was geared towards getting here today.
Oh, what can you say
Yay,
to that?
that was
Yeah.
so nice. Awesome.
I'm a little verklempt on that. I'm a little verklempt. That's
And that's actually a true statement because that's all factual. Is what, you know, and when I'm the podcast I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to say the same thing.
All right. Well,
just
we don't feel special then. Okay, that's fine.
You know, it's funny. I was going to ask him what his most memorable concert as a kid was, but I think
You already-
No. I'll tell you what it was. It was the Bee Gees. My first concert was
Oh,
September 26, 1979 at Norfolk Scope. The Pointer Sisters, the Sweet Inspirations opened up because it was 2 years after Elvis had passed. And I remember waiting in line at special services on Little Creek Amphib Base with my mom to buy the tickets in June. And the concert was in September. And I remember everything about it like it was last week.
Wow.
And that was when I was like, okay, that's really a good
Emotionally
show.
charged.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
incredible
yeah.
to see that kind of thing. And I'll tell you a quick story. They opened with Tragedy, with losing her mind, and I have to look back on that and realize that she was like, you know, young then, even though you know your parents are always old no matter how old you are.
Right.
But and the song Tragedy, where it builds up into the bridge, and there's a fake explosion.
Yes.
Well, the stage blew up, and I thought something was wrong.
A real life.
It's scared. If I still had those underwear right now,
Oh.
I'll tell you right,
Well,
it was unreal. Like it was like, oh my god, what? I thought something had happened, but you know, it was cool.
Henceforth the
That is
name.
cool.
Yeah, it's like
that is cool.
I
Yeah.
remember my first Kiss concert when stuff was blowing up all over.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, pyrotechnics.
if you're not expecting it.
Oh yeah.
But so yeah, that I felt dumb and at the same time relieved that the PA didn't land on anybody.
Awesome.
So
Wow.
Yeah.
So So let me ask you a couple of questions myself. So playing around town, what was the first band you were in?
My first paid performance was with my brother Jimmy for a Jimmy and the Bull car show in January of 85 or 86, and I was still in high school.
Oh wow.
And Billy Batt, who's like an uncle to me, Jimmy Taft on drums, monster drummer. I think the bass player's name was Scott Miller. Monster. I think he's with the Miami Philharmonic now. And Jimmy and the Bull, you know, and their dumb songs that they used to do.
Oh yeah. Parodies.
Fun
Yeah.
days, yeah.
They were doing Weird Al before Weird Al.
But you know what? Yeah, I mean,
But it's stuck. It's
yeah,
stuck.
it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. And so that was. And then my first band. My first pro gigs were right out of high school. I started playing on the Spirit of Norfolk.
Who would have thought that?
Right?
You're on a boat, Mark Dunn. Don't you ever forget.
That's right. Earlier, I had to read charts on that gig to play everything from a jazz standard to Separate Ways by Journey all in one night. So that was a
Trial by
good,
fire.
yeah. And then my first bar band was the following year was called Worlds Apart with one of my friends I've known since first grade, and you know, so, it was just fun to be able to go and not be of age and have privileges going into bars and playing that. And And then after that, it was I did a couple different things, and then I went on the road with the Tony Elliott band.
Tony Elliott. Well,
Yeah, they were.
strike
He
a
was
chord
an
here.
artist that was signed out of here and on the road, and that was where I really cut my teeth. And then after that band, played with Picture This, Kyle Randolph and Dan Clemens and Pete Soder,
A
and
monster, great player.
then out of that formed Waterworks, which was my first band with a lot of original material, and we had a Bud sponsorship, and David Waltrip wrote a lot of great songs for that band, and we played 104 straight Tuesday nights at Sunset Grill on Shore Drive.
What? I remember that place. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody remembers Sunset Grill. I mean, it was like Mike Mosgrove and the bar.
Yeah, they were the weekend house
The
band.
weekend house
Yeah.
band. You guys were there every Tuesday.
104
Okay.
straight Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Unbelievable. I just.
So,
I think the caterer just busted her shit.
yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
she's
I shouldn't
she's
be
my
laughing
friend.
about that.
She's my friend, but just she ate it.
It's just metal. Don't worry about it.
So
You'll-
okay, so Mark.
It's flesh.
So-
You'll hear. It's
All
flesh and
right.
blood. You'll
So
hear.
flash forward to now. So what do you?
Well, in '99, I decided to move to Atlanta. I'd started doing a lot of fly dates. So I moved to Atlanta and then got on with an up and coming country artist and started playing country music on a personal dare. And then,
Is it?
did that for what was there for about 11 years.
Do you like that genre, or you just like all music in general?
I like anything that's good, but good for me is, all over the place. I think we can all appreciate a pop tune. But
Right.
when I started playing country, I got to be friends with a lot of great players. And my friend Danny Chauncey, that was in 38 Special,
Yeah. Jamie.
I said to Danny back in the 2000s, I said, if you guys were a new band today, y'all would be on country radio. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Would.
In
Yeah,
the
yeah.
2000s, yeah. And
No question about it.
Yeah.
and so I've played everything from jazz standards, probably very poorly as an 18-year-old, to country and country sessions and lots of studio work doing all sorts of genres.
I think there's a good bleed over between that. And so, everybody thinks country, but to me, there's so much blues in country, a blues scale. if you
Everything's
will.
blues.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we don't have to.
You should
We
see
don't
my
have to theory people to death on that.
you should see my some of my students get pissed when I have to explain to them Metallica's a blues band. But they're Metallica. They're a blues band.
Yeah, yeah. Look at the scale and the notes they're playing.
And then I tell them this, the band was actually called Metallic.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, but James Hetfield couldn't say it. He had to always go Metallic. Ah! So that's why
Everybody's like
that's a Mark Dunn original.
puking up a lung.
Give me credit.
That was a good one.
You're right. You're right.
Metallica.
Give me 2, give me 5, give me that one.
Metallica. True
So,
story.
so let me ask you: do you listen to other musicians outside of guitar players?
Of course.
And I say this because it's like and if so, who, what, where, and why, and what kind of impact does that make on you as a musician in general?
I think that I was just telling this to a student today that if you learn parts from other instruments, you're making yourself a better guitar player because there are traps when you stay inside just one instrument. Like we're all Pavlov's dog. We all do the same thing based on stimulus. So if the stimulus is picking up a guitar players are notorious for learning a thing and not understanding what the hell they're doing. Starting with me. So, but if you can step out, like I was showing a student today the line on Separate Ways, down, 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 explaining a pedal tone,
Right.
all that fun stuff. It's a keyboard line, but if you play it on guitar, it's going to make you understand more. So,
That's
keyboard,
what I'm talking about.
saxophone.
Digging the melody behind it and showing what the melody is doing
Bro,
on top of it.
To play a sax line on guitar is a lot harder to play it on guitar.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that makes you a better player.
As I happened to me, I got locked in a pattern. I became a pattern.
Well, yeah, you got to
That's
be.
how we became a pattern.
Eddie Van Halen was a pattern player,
Yeah.
100%. I mean, they were genius patterns,
Right.
but they were not. He wasn't sitting there going, I'm in the Mixolydian or Lydian dominant mode. He was just playing something that was based on a string pattern that he played technically very proficiently and swung it.
I always thought that he was not a one-trick pony. I always thought Eddie Van Halen was, a lot of people categorize him for one thing, but he was so much more
Rhythm
diverse.
playing was his thing,
Oh gosh.
and
Confident Phil.
everything's rhythm though.
Yeah, confident. Yeah.
But I mean, everything. Like when you play, if I wish I had. Somebody might argue with me. One of my students might not understand how the right hand runs the show.
Mhm.
So I play all the wrong notes on Sweet Home Alabama, and I asked them what song was that, and they said, "Well, it was Sweet Home, but it's not because you." I said, "But the only reason you knew it was Sweet Home was because of the rhythm."
Very
Just
well
ima-
put. Yeah, yeah.
Just imagine the worst version of that riff you could ever hear.
Well,
in
it's
a
funny you
jazz
say
band.
that. I got kicked out of a country band tryout because I played it wrong. So I could, yeah. This is back in the early 90s.
Can you move over a little bit?
But I picked up the guitar in, 1988. So there we go.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Mark, what age of kids do you teach?
Well, anybody that's under 18 is considered a kid. So, but students range from anybody that's under 10, I have to evaluate because it's not whether or not they could play. It's about holding their attention for no less than 20 minutes to get a, you know what I mean? But all the way, my oldest student I've ever had was 84.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Keith Richards.
Hey, Mark.
And that was 10 years ago.
So you're really quite a guy, Marcus.
10 years ago. That's right.
Mark,
So-
hey, show me how to play the intro. Stop me out. Sure, Keith.
Should I segue into the next question here? Yeah. So back to what you just did. The release of your CD,
Top Gear.
Top Gear. Well, if you guys haven't heard it, please check it out online, ladies and gentlemen.
Or buy it.
Most important, buy it,
Buy it.
purchase it.
$12 on the website, markdunguitar.com, or 2 for 24.
2 for 20.
They reacted downstairs over that.
Yeah.
Tell your
they
friends and
like it.
neighbors. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So that obviously that is your current project. But you were saying something to me that you're going to be getting on a plane here.
Yeah, I'm
very
heading out to
soon.
LA. I'm going to so this is I gotta give the story here. So in the 90s, Stone Temple Pilots took a hiatus because of Weiland's issues. And they did a record with a singer named Dave Coots that was just incredible. Had a band called 10 Inch Men. And I think the record's amazing. I think it sold 10 or 12 copies, and sorry, Dave, but I went and saw them open for Foo Fighters at Foreman Field, and didn't even stay for Foo Fighters. The record is one of my favorite records of the 90s, probably top 5.
Huh.
And it's a lost gem. Not too many people remember. They had a song. Their hit was called "Hello, Hello," which won a Video Music Award that year or whatever. They opened for Foo Fighters and then went on to tour with Aerosmith, and
Some big names. Yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, and anybody that knows that era that I've talked to knows that, like, yeah, I've got that album. Anyhow, I've always loved the record, and I got to meet Dave online back in October. Serendipitously, it was just kind of the funniest thing when you spread some good joy into the universe. And somebody goes, "Hey," it was under another name. I read my inboxes later on that night after I was talking about that record, and goes, "I just wanted to thank you for the kind words." And I'm like, "Is this Dave?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, dude, I'm gonna fanboy it right now. It's over. I'm gonna wear you out. So it took about a month, and we chatting and getting to know each other, and then we essentially started working on a record in earnest. And Trip Johnson's on drums on this, and Andrew Coleman, who produced Top Gear, who was supposed to be here tonight, but it's traffic's a little wonky with
Yeah, it takes a discipline to living under that umbrella, doesn't it? Yeah, it takes a discipline.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So that record we're working on. I'm really excited about my record, Top Gear.
Yes.
I'm excited about the songs on that. That was a 2-year. I think every Tuesday and Wednesday night for the better part of 18 months, we recorded at Tom Gwaltney's studio, which is right here over off Great Neck.
Uh-huh.
A wonderful sounding studio, and the tones that we got in there. I'll tell you about this. I don't look back at this record, Top Gear, and say, "Oh, I wish I would have," on anything we did.
How cool is that?
Everything is.
It met your expectation then.
My expectation was, I don't know if the music's going to be any good, but this is going to sound awesome. Because I'm not going to pat myself on the back. But Andrew Coleman, I don't even know how to say this without sounding like a dick. I have not heard a local recording sound like my record.
And there are things on the feature song that we're going to roll the video up here around, which there's
it's an opening track on the record.
Yes, yeah, opening track, and the production on that. We talked a little bit about that after the fact, but I won't spoil teaser.
Oh no, we can talk. But that's
So
guitar.
I call
But
Guitar Geeks.
Curtis Boggs is here, and he's the videographer and director.
Curtis up here.
If Curtis wants to.
We should bring Curtis up.
You can see Curtis over there. Yeah. Can somebody give Curtis a slate?
Yeah. By the way, that was. I'm gonna tell you right now. That video, it was like, it blew me away. It was really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And when we talked about it, and I've worked with Curtis before on different things. He filmed in the studio the live tributes to Neil Peart and what's his name from Bad Company that we did
Paul Rogers?
for Brian Howe.
Okay.
They were the Lest We Forget things, and Curtis filmed me playing live. So it was one of those things on the Rush tunes on that while I was tracking, I was being filmed, and that kind of makes your rear end pucker a little bit, in case you guys are wondering, because you got to play. And we had to work together because I had to play a linear performance, and he just did a wonderful job, and it's also a great hang. So we had a meeting back in December because the record was done, and I said, hey, I want to do a video. I want to do it like the advent of MTV, like a basic performance video, but I don't want to lip sync. We'll use the recorded track. Didn't even know which song we were going to video. Didn't know.
Interesting.
And then Dave, actually out in LA, he said, do it for Round because it's the opening track on the song, on the album. It's moody. And there was a lot of cool opportunity for that. All the work that goes into a gig footage you can see.
I liked about it the most personally was the change. I say it comes almost like a spiritual gospel kind of vibe in the beginning, and then it hits
especially
you like
that halo that I had over my head.
And then it drops on you like a 20-ton anvil.
Well, yeah, it goes from a church, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, to Aerosmith.
There we go. Yeah. There we go. That's you said.
And you guys have heard the song, right? Oh yeah, y'all were there for that. They heard it about 30 times.
Okay. Yeah. Very well described, though.
Well, Brian and I were talking, and not to sound bad, but it got you. Like, it's wormy. Like an earworm.
Earworm.
Like,
yes, we did. We talked about it like all week long. I hate to say it in a good way. We were singing it to each other on the phone.
Good.
I like, hey, the
mission
show's
accomplished.
I was like, seriously, we're like, hey, the show's coming up.
Right. Anyway. That's right. In a good way.
It was kind of earwormy.
Yeah.
And then we also talked about how.
Thanks for specifying that, because I've never had a woman look at me before and go, "It's wormy."
Well,
and I just was like, I'm glad that you rectified that for me.
So as a musician, you can attest to this. So I'm like, it's wormy.
Thank you. I'll be here.
Thanks, Mark.
So I don't know when they grab the hook.
Remember, at least when I was a kid, if we had your alarm set for to go off at 7 a.m. or whatever, and FM 99 came on, and say, for example, it was One Way Out by the Allman Brothers, like Maurice, that stayed in your head all day. It did for me.
Absolutely.
And probably you.
Yeah.
That lick stayed in your head all day long. or if it was, George Benson's Broadway or whatever it was.
Actually, they would play that at the house. I never heard that on the radio.
Okay, yeah.
My brothers would play that album. a lot.
Yeah, so it was like one of those things where there's the worm, the earworm,
That's right.
and that as musicians,
Earworm.
The
earworm.
It's-
keeps us awake at night. It does me. I grab my guitar sometimes at 1 a.m. and like,
Hey,
anyway,
I was trying to be nice.
wormy,
Wormy.
It's a little warm.
Sarcatech.
He shrinks
Dun,
in the
dun,
house.
dun, 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 dun.
Might need a little
So-
session after
So,
this.
Yeah, Dr. Sand.
yeah,
Dr. Sand over here.
So, all right. So, are we about ready?
Are we gonna
Yeah,
roll this
sure.
thing? You ready to
Let's
roll
roll
this?
it.
I'm
Yeah.
we
queuing
gonna
on
do
you.
it?
Are we
All
ready?
right.
Hey, we're gonna
you
play
gotta
the
get
video.
set up. He's got to get set up for a second.
Close.
So, how fun was it to make?
I don't know. How fun was it to
How
make,
fun
y'all?
was it? It was fun.
So we rented. We filmed it at Stage Right Lighting in Virginia Beach, and
Uh huh.
I invited a laundry list of friends, and
Oh, so you guys have all seen it.
well, they're part of
Oh,
it. They're
you're
in it.
part of it.
They're in it.
Oh, they're famous. Hold on. Let me put on.
Yeah.
Let me put on the audience cam. Hold
That's
on.
right. That's
you
right.
know, they're also in the video. Well, some of them. There
Yeah.
you go. All right. You tell me.
And I gotta
The
give
white,
I gotta give a
the
shout out
white
to.
remote. The white remote. The white remote.
The green here. There you go. Yeah. Something
And-
died on me.
You have to draw things.
Okay, you ready?
Hold on.
Right. You know what's going to come up is the Southwest commercial. It's going to say, "Want to get away?"
Hold on, audience. Hold on.
Or wait a minute. This is we're actually filming a Southwest commercial right now.
Yeah.
Want to get away?
On.
Want to get away?
Hold on. What? It's you guys on the internet are gonna get to see it, and they are gonna also get to see it. But you got to tell me when, Brian.
Tell me, are you ready for me to pop the start button on that?
Well, hold on. It's gotta come up. See, this is the pause between live, and you guys will get to see it on here in a second. Oh, what happened? It's just gotta wait, Brian. Hold on.
No, he's got to dim the lights.
Dim the lights. I don't have to do it. Here's the remote, Jacob.
Tell us when. Tell us when.
Are you still on air? Y'all just tell me
Yeah.
when.
Okay, you ready?
Hold on, let me.
So introduce, what's the name of the song?
This song is the lead. Thank you. This song's the opening track on the album top here. This is a song called "Round," and I don't mean round in the shape. There's a apostrophe in the title,
Jacob, I need to come
like
over here.
around.
Tell us when to sing it.
I will. I'm trying to find it on
And there's
here.
what's going on here is there's coordination. Like
Yeah, we're trying.
Sandy's gonna mash the button on the laptop,
And it's not
and there's
mine.
another button to mash on the laptop over here.
It's not mine.
And it's like they're both going to turn the keys on a nuclear launch.
It's pretty much
Like at the same time.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jacob, I don't know. Jacob, I don't know where it is on your desktop. We had to switch up things. Downloads, got it. Okay,
Right.
all right, so. Oh. Okay, all right, hold on. We only want- Okay, go ahead.
I got Curtis Boggs right there.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'd like to point out something too, that Curtis shot that on his own. He didn't have another camera, and the camera, the stuff he got was so good, not because of the person or personnel on the stage, but that's the second edit. That's only one edit. That the 2 edits was done. So that's great work on his part.
By the way, speaking of edits, I did want to mention this because I called Mark one morning, after I first heard the song. I was like, Mark, well, he knows I'm a Hendrix aficionado of sorts.
Who?
James. Oh yeah, James Marshall. Dig it. Oh yeah.
But I like peanut butter.
Yeah, so he knows I'm a huge Hendrix fanatic and always have been. And I said, dude, that flanger. So that's that tube sound that you guys hear that's passing. It sounds like the music itself is passing almost through a tube. I was like, Mark, I said, was that like an Eddie Van Halen?
Nope. There's 2 things that happened during the making of that song that were serendipitous. And one caused Andrew Coleman to levitate out of a seat, and the other caused me to levitate out of my seat. The first one was when I started playing the harmonic minor scale. And Andrew was like, what the is that? I'm like, good or bad? He's like, keep going. So that was that's that lead at the front.
Yeah.
The other one was when he started screwing around with a bounce the night we finished the tracks on that. And I don't know if he meant to land on the flange or whatever, but the sound came in that was Axis Bold as Love, like Hendrix.
Yeah.
It's like,
it sounded like Axis Bold as Love at the end of Axis.
Yeah.
When the drums come. Boom, 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 boom.
So then we were like, overindulging on candy on Halloween because the whole thing was one big giant flanger for a minute. I'm like, we should probably pare it down a little bit. I don't want anybody to get vertigo listening to this. So,
but that did make a cool effect at the end of this,
very cool.
production wise.
And again, that's Andrew knowing that something like that would resonate,
right?
So if the album sounds great because of how it was recorded and who was recording it. If you like the music, that's a plus too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
how can we not? How can we not?
I hope so.
Should I give him my rapid fire questions now, Sam? Is that possible?
Oh Lord.
Oh, here we go.
Are we close?
Wait a minute.
Come on.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
I didn't bring
Hold on.
my
Hold on.
attorney to this.
So
With your last name, that would be a great name for an attorney. Because you're going to have to write a check.
But wait a minute. These are spontaneous. This is spontaneous combustion when I say that. Completely spontaneous.
Rapid fire.
Yeah, rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
And I say rapid fire, meaning you can take a minute. Answers can be slightly elaborated on. How's that?
All right. Well, I'm not scared.
Okay. Ranch or blue cheese?
Both.
What?
Oh,
Well, what are you eating? I ain't sticking a straw in either one. So it's going to be paired, right?
Well, there we go. Okay.
There you go.
All right.
okay.
Fender, Gibson, or neither? And I think I know the answer.
Well, I've never owned a Gibson, and that's not because of any prejudice. It's the only Gibsons I've ever wanted to buy were either not for sale or $250,000.
Too damn expensive. I mean, and we love.
And they weren't laying that one away.
No.
But I have played some amazing Gibsons. A friend of mine, Lee Root, had a well-known 59 burst that was called Gladys Bonamassa. Had it for a while, and that guitar was amazing. And had I had the dough, I would have bought that.
I had a 53 I sold to finance my teaching business. And as you can see now, I don't teach anymore. So,
Yeah, you just taught a lesson.
yeah.
Don't sell your
Don't sell your
53.
Gibson. Yeah. Medium, high, medium, or low action preference. Action meaning
It just depends, man.
distance of string, how high the strings are.
It's different cars drive differently. So
True.
you don't buy a Corvette and put Jeep tires on it, So it's
Very well
whatever
explained.
whatever the guitar has the thing that it has to do, and the action on one might be higher than another action because
Right.
it does a thing.
It's kind of.
I like I guess if medium, but I play heavy strings, so
Okay.
somebody that likes high action with thin strings might think my action's higher.
Oh boy, now we go into
Uh-oh.
the curveballs. Will you break the rules for something or someone that you care about?
Of course, done it.
Well, there we go. I think that speaks volumes.
Wait a minute. When you say rules,
If your belief in someone or something that you care about so much is so intently and so passionate on your heart, and the rule says, you can't go see your mom after 9 o'clock at the hospital, and I'll be like, she's having her last breath. This would be me.
that rule would never be. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Unless it was under the COVID craziness. But
right.
Look, you know what? All of us have a past, and there's never any bug splatter on the rearview mirror.
Ooh,
but if you keep
write
looking
that down, kids.
if you keep looking in the rear view too long, you're going to drive into a brick wall.
Ooh.
So we all do things that we make choices, and if it's to help someone else that needs the help at that point, then the first rule of the universe is don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
I like.
Yep. Amen.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Yeah.
That's right.
Krispy Kreme or Dunkin'?
Yes.
But do you have a preference? Or okay, Krispy Kreme. I put Krispy Kreme, Dunkin', or even
Dunkin'
Duck,
coffee.
or even
I've gone to Dunkin' to get coffee and to
Yes.
Krispy Kreme to get a hot light freaking donut.
Yes, as long as the light is on, as we
With
know.
The lights on.
Exactly.
The
The light is on.
That's right. If the lights on.
And they could just kill two birds with one stone and come together.
Come together.
Put a Dunkin' right next to a
So
Krispy Kreme, and you'll
bouncing
have
back and
people
forth.
walking out with Dunkin' coffee, going to get a Krispy Kreme
I
donut.
think he's got a point there.
And it may as well be a precinct after that. It could be precinct.
Favorite strings, or do you have a
DR.
DR?
Yeah.
Okay, I played DRs for a while.
Yeah, no, Rich up at Volume 11 Music in Fredericksburg turned me on to him. And I'm pretty pragmatic. Like, if I find something I like, I'm going to use it.
Right. And
And
we like
so,
consistency.
yeah. And so I'm not easy on a set of strings. But these strings I get 4 or 5 shows on my acoustic. And then, I've had the strings on the electrics I used this last weekend for a month, and they still felt new.
There we go.
Yeah.
There's lightly set for the integrity of the metal.
They're not the least expensive string.
What
And,
you pay for, what you get what
right,
you pay for.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Lastly, ladies and gentlemen,
That's good. Uh-oh. Here we go. Okay.
Is this the Karnak portion of this?
Okay.
Yeah.
Briefs or boxers? No.
are
Briefs or boxers?
you true? Yeah, briefs or boxers. Are you doing truly what you want to do in life at this point?
At this very moment?
Yes. Well, no, not here in the city. Let's just say
Because I was getting ready to refer to my, rule number 1 of the universe.
Yeah. But are you doing truly what you want to do right now? Like as a musician, are you playing music full time? And as we know, that is not the easiest thing.
No.
And relationships will suffer with friends, family, and lots of
My
other-
relationship with myself has suffered over the years for not being a full-time musician.
Ah.
And
Write that down, kids.
I've had a very successful career, and now I've tried to not be a musician. I had PTSD from 2 different record deals that I almost gave up playing music for reasons that had nothing to do
Wow.
with playing music. Made gobs of money in a office, and when I say it, I smile because none of that makes any sense, does it?
No.
So, when you think about what you're supposed to do in life, and
Right.
when it becomes evident to you that money's not everything, then happiness is typically right around the corner.
Amen,
There you
brother.
go.
Amen.
That's
Very well
really
put.
good. That's really
Very well.
good.
Very well put. Sandy, you got anything?
I
Yeah, go ahead.
I do. So my question is, where can they find the video?
So, can you make that a public link now?
I should be able-
That'll be the quickest way to do it. It'll be
Yeah.
on Vimeo,
Okay.
and I'll share the link,
On
and you
Vimeo?
guys you
Okay.
can share it.
So, and the audience can go to Vimeo and find
well,
it?
and we'll probably link it to the
Okay.
website, which is
Right.
MarkDumpGuitar.com.
markdunguitar.com. And I'll probably put it on my
It's on.
YouTube as well. Curtis sent me a couple of different.
We'll put it on your YouTube.
You can put on my YouTube, and
Very cool.
Awesome.
and then we're going to have an edit for it, and there's going to be also a little bit of a mini documentary that we'll have coming out that Curtis is still working
Oh,
on.
Very cool.
Where we, if for anybody that appreciates how the record sounds, Curtis talked to Andrew and Tom in the studio, and we were having a good time talking about some of the stuff we did that we were listening to. And go, yeah,
By the way, I want to mention the name Tom Gwaltney. He's
Tom
kind of
Gwaltney.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's the first time I ever saw that name is when I flipped over the back of an old Cloudy Days CD. I was a huge fan of Pudgy Hill, Paul Warren, and the band Cloudy
Yeah.
Days, and I saw that name and it was like, wow, the production. Even this, we're talking like early '90s when I wasn't playing music. I was going out and appreciating as a fan, and I was like, the production value of that then was.
Tom is one of the funniest people I know, and he is nerdy in a way that's awesome, and is so passionate about making sure stuff sounds great.
Yeah,
So
you could tell.
I didn't know he was involved with the Cloudy Day stuff. I didn't,
Yeah.
but I mean, he's been somebody that anybody that watches cable TV hears his music every day.
That's right. If you like Discovery Channel and
All that
yeah,
stuff,
he does
yeah.
a lot of stuff on the bigger side of things.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
and he has an ear that is dumb good. I mean, like you'll hear a little thing and you're in the moment, and I'll go back and listen to it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, damn. You know, it's like you would have not heard it.
Right.
And it's like, and then you can't unhear it. So he's got an ear.
It's like savant ear. I call it.
I but he's not. But
Right,
he is.
Yeah,
but he's not.
right. Yeah. Right.
And
right.
it's a technical
good.
thing.
Yeah, it's a good
It's
thing.
like Curtis has an eye for something that none of us would ever see. But once
I
he
saw
points
the
it out,
video.
you can't unsee it, you know?
Yeah, I saw the
So
video.
it's you know, and then the three of us, I'll say this to not belabor it, but myself and Andrew and Tom are three strong. We're alphas, you know.
Dogs. Yeah.
And so it was an interesting dynamic to figure out the triangle, and it kind of did this depending upon what was being done that
Wow.
day. Yeah, and but you know, everybody's input was super important to getting the final result.
And no egos, you know.
Oh, of course I have it. My ego was dropped off in a Mayflower 18-wheeler. In fact, I don't even want to be in this room because it's not big enough for my ego right now.
And that's why I'm sitting over
Just
here.
Right.
kidding. This is a beautiful room. Back Bay Brew House is awesome.
Back Bay
I
Beach
mean,
Brewing
look at
going
this.
alive
The
here,
woodwork
yes.
is amazing.
Yeah. It's
Anyway,
awesome.
by the way, my co-host, Dr. Sands, is having a
Warming.
birthday this week on the 4th. Yeah.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that. Yeah. Yeah, she's having a birthday this week, so I wanted to give props and what a great time
I actually
doing this with you and getting to know
I
you
actually
and to work
brought you
with
this
this.
Fiji water, but I was thirsty. So if you don't mind,
Yeah,
I'll just give you what's left over for your
No,
birthday.
that's a little wormy.
Yeah.
That's a little wormy.
Oh my God! And by the way, this truly is about the entire. Like I said, this thing is about the
This is so
scene,
good.
and I can't wait to bring in more people, more guests, people
That's
who
right.
we've heard of, people who we haven't heard of. I don't care if it's for
Love to have you
DJs, whatever.
guys.
I mean, club owners. It's like I can't wait to just like spill the beans on everybody,
Yes.
not just guitar players. And we love guitar players, of
Yeah.
course, but
Yeah,
you
I
know,
know.
but,
Yeah, lots of them.
yeah, but still, you
Well,
know.
and I want to thank. I have an assistant came, a new guy who just met. IT
Yeah.
guy. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you very much. So, and don't forget once again, Island.
What's the name of your business? Critical Computers.
Critical. When things are critical,
And it was critical.
Yes.
He came and saved us. So.
he came in
There you
here
go. And
spontaneously of the
Yes,
moment.
and
Yeah.
then I will play a commercial in a second of one of our other sponsors. And thank you,
What
Back
other
Bay
sponsor? What other
Brew
sponsor?
House.
you have?
Island Time Delights.
Yeah, the
Who is
catering.
catering.
Yeah.
Island Times Delight.
Rocking in the moonlight.
Get your Island Times Delight. We can cut the cheese for charcuteries.
I hear a jingle. I hear a jingle coming on.
There's a spread now. So
He's gonna
thank
produce
you
it.
guys. So anything, okay, thank you guys. You can find markdunguitar.com, right?
Yes.
Go find his CD everywhere.
Birdland, and I have to.
Birdland.
They sold out, I think, so I have to take.
What?
And he has
Yeah.
some. Go
Yeah, they sold out.
go find him around town. What's your next gig?
Well,
I'm
he's
going
heading
to
to West
Cali.
Coast, yeah.
I don't think I have an in-town show. I might have an acoustic appearance in town this month, but I don't
Alright.
play the 757 very often.
We'll go find his CD and the video, and we're so excited. And thank you, Mark, for our first
Yes. The inaugural,
podcast.
the inaugural
And
edition.
thank you, audience. And here, hold on,
It's
I gotta
better to
put
be
it
the
on there.
GP than the OG.
Oh,
The guinea pig.
Guinea pig. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you all.
guys,
Thank you all.
everybody. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening and peace out.
Sponsored by Island Time Delights, full catering services and food truck. Authentic Filipino cuisines and America's favorites, using the finest of ingredients and always made from scratch. Your vision is our delight. Call today to discuss your catering needs at 919 880